It is another episode of the States Up podcast with the athletic season winding down as we're now in the month of May and a lot coming up around the corner. Of course, the upcoming Sun Belt Conference tournaments for both baseball and softball. The softball tournament, of course, being held here in San Marcos, but perhaps some more postseason as well for Texas State softball in a position for an at-large bid and perhaps, in the conversation too for potentially hosting a regional. So it's been a special season for Texas State softball, and that is the topic of our podcast this week. As our guest is in her second year with the program. She is a senior, a transfer in from a year ago from the University of Texas. First baseman J.J. Smith out of Rosenberg, Texas, the greater Houston area. She joins us now on the States Up podcast. J.J., how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, J.J. And again, this has been a really great year for you, and your teammates as well. RPI has been in the teens for a good chunk of the season. You've been ranked, so you are ranked right now. So it's been a great year for the team, for you individually, hitting 273. 9 homers, you've driven in 36, OPS of 931. Big jump in numbers from you from a year ago. Your batting average is up nearly 50 points. You've hit 7 more home runs this year. Your RBI total is up from 26 from a year ago, and your OPS is up nearly 300 points as well. So it's been a massive jump in production for you from last year to this year. What's been the difference for you?
I think the main difference is just I feel way more comfortable. I think coming in just as a transfer, it's the same as coming in as a freshman. Just trying to get to know everybody and get to know the lay of the land a little bit. So I think that was just a huge comparison from last year to this year. Is I'm way more comfortable with not even just like my team, but like the coaches and just I understand the whole aspect of the team and like what everything's about way more. And so I think just the comfort zone for me is just like a huge thing that's helped me, help those numbers jump.
So what have you gotten to know about the lay of the land, about your coaches, about your teammates over the last 12 months?
So really it's really just a hardworking group, just embracing in the hardworking aspect of it, putting in your extra time, whether it's hitting with Coach Woodard, Coach Scott, or Coach PJ, taking the time to do all the little things correct. Mm-hmm. I think last year I didn't do that as well, but I think I realized that, and the coaches, held me accountable to that in my exit meeting. So I think that really opened up my eyes. And so I think that's just a huge thing that I've changed from last year to this year. So I can just put all the, that's where I've, changed. It's just my work ethic and all the put in the extra work and the extra time and hitting and, just focusing on film, making sure I'm understanding my plan when I'm going into the game. So,
again, you transferred from University of Texas, so it wasn't, that big of a geographical jump for you. Texas just up the road, and you had played against Texas State before. You had a chance to really get to know the program quite a bit. So when you jumped into the portal, what was it about this place, about becoming a Bobcat, playing for Texas State, that appealed to you?
I think just the underdog aspect of it. Every single time we played Texas State, whenever I was at Texas, it was such a gritty game. Usually whenever we would play somebody when I was at Texas, that was, a mid-major. It was majority of the time it was an easy win for us, as it should be, being a Power 5 school. But every single time we played Texas State, it was, a 1-run ball game, a 2-run ball game. So it was always just a gritty game. And I really liked that about Texas State. And also it helped that I played with Jess Camoens. I played with her my last 2 years of select ball, travel ball. So we were able to get kind of a connection together. Back then I was a catcher, so our connection was a little bit different, but I think that helped tremendously in the aspect of where I was wanting to go. And then I think pretty much half the girls on the team are from the Houston area. Mm-hmm. So I grew up playing select ball against half of them. Fun fact, me and Hannah Earls were supposed to be roommates at Texas before she decided to decommit. But so I have that connection as well. So not only just, the gritty aspect of the team and how it looks from the outside, but like I have so many more connections on the inside from, travel ball and when I was younger. So that was way more appealing as well, just for me understanding where I wanted to go.
Yeah, you mentioned the relationships that you've built. You and Mullins, travel ball together. You and Hannah are nearly teammates in Austin. Do I understand, too, that Lourdes Bacon, who plays at ULM, was also on the travel ball team with you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me and Lou and Jess were all on the same travel ball. Lourdes, she's a great player. Probably one of the most underrated players I've ever played with. But, yeah, all three of us were on the same travel ball team.
I mentioned that you transferred from Texas and you kind of talked about your time there, but one thing that didn't come up was the fact that, you're part, of a tremendous run, your final season there in 2022, the trip to Oklahoma City, the run to the championship finals against Oklahoma. And that season, when the season began, you weren't the everyday first baseman, but, as the season moved along, an opportunity came about where you got that chance and didn't let go, had a tremendous postseason run. You hit really well in the tournament, the regionals, the supers, and again in Oklahoma City. For you, what was that moment like to be hitting so well on the biggest of stages?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I think, like you said, I was not the everyday starter throughout pretty much the whole season. So I think the big thing for me is I was so hungry and just so eager to get on the field. And so, whenever I got my chance, I was ready for it. I put my time in during practice. I was probably one of the harder workers in practice just because I knew that if I was going to have the chance to play, then I needed to be prepared. So I had several of my teammates, talking to me whenever I got, the okay that I was going to start that first game in Oklahoma City. So it was very nerve-wracking, but, several of them just pulled me aside and was like, hey, like, just be you. Like, you're prepared for this moment. You've put your time in. So, once I understood that, I stepped on the field and I kind of took everything in, that first kind of like, okay, like, you're here. All right. So once I embraced that, I was just ready to rock and roll.
So I like to think that the choice coming to Texas State is an easy one. Who doesn't want to be a Bobcat, right? But, I mentioned the run you had at Texas, and you're this close to winning a national championship. I have to imagine that, leaving that was not an easy decision for you. You're coming off that great stretch. Perhaps for that coaching staff, you've proven something where you can get more opportunities for them the following year. How tough was it for you to let that go?
It was pretty tough going into the postseason. It wasn't as hard of a decision for me just because, I wasn't the everyday starter. So I had a pretty good idea that that was going to be on the table for me was leaving. But once I started, playing, obviously, in the bigger games, I was like, all right, like, since he's, starting to play me a little bit more in these bigger games, maybe, I give it another chance and come back for a third year, but there were just had some conversations afterwards, and it was really hard. Obviously, I'd made some really good relationships over there for the past 2 years. That's where I started. So it was really hard for me to leave, but I knew, just with the certain conversations I had with the coaches and then also my family, it was just best for me to just take my talents up elsewhere. So
again, as I mentioned when I brought you on, you're in the middle of a really special season right now. This team is going to be going to the NCAA tournament, whether that's an at-large or the automatic bid. You're going. The RPI is too high for you not to. It is possible if things really go well to end the regular season, great tournament run, that perhaps you could host a regional. We'll find out when the chips fall. The point is that the bar's been set really high for this year's team. How far do you think this year's team can go?
I think we have a chance to, make history with this team. We've got a lot of experience on this team, a lot of talent. I mean, even off the bench, we've got a tremendous amount of talent. So I just think between the experience and then the people we've got on the bench and just the drive that every person on the team has, just to go to that next step. I think everybody understands the fact that we are a really talented group. So I feel like no matter where we go or where we're hosted at, I feel like we definitely have a chance to, take it to that next step and go to super regionals and even farther. I mean, I just think that we just need to, lean on each other. It's going to be hard. I mean, we've overcome a lot of adversity in the last, couple weeks. So I think that's really helped us understand that we can get through those hard times. But it's just trust in our talent, which we have. So I think we can definitely make history with this group for sure.
It's also a really close-knit team. You mentioned how talented that everybody is, but really, with all the experience, a lot of you have been playing with each other for a long time. You've been with the program for only a couple of years, but again, some of your relationships predate, your time even playing college softball with Mullins and Earls, as we talked about. So again, a lot of seniors on this team, a lot of experience. This is a team that likes each other. And so when something tough happens to one of your teammates, it can be difficult. I bring this up because Sierra Trahan is a huge part of this program, tremendous talent in the outfield, one of the great hitters at the top of the order, suffered a really scary non-contact knee injury that ended her season against Baylor about a month ago. How tough was that for you and your teammates to see Sierra go through?
Oh, it's tough because, Sierra is one of the leaders on our team. It's somebody that I, always look to when things are either going good or bad. She's just somebody I lean on. So it was really hard to see that, especially because she's, one of the top players on our team. She's a huge asset to our team, with her bat and then also in the outfield. But that just goes to, back to what I was saying earlier, just the talent we have on the bench, whether it's Sydney Harvey or Emily Baker, we know that, either one of them can step up and, play that left field. Obviously, nobody can replace Sierra, but both of them are doing a really good job. Whoever it is on that day, they're doing a really good job of stepping up and making plays, getting hits. I think just being prepared, just is always the big thing because you really never know what's going to happen, unfortunately. But yeah, so a huge loss for us, but I'm really proud of Sydney and Emily for stepping up and, filling that role for us.
Your head coach, Ricky Woodard, has been an icon here. I think when you hear the phrase Texas State softball, the first person that comes to mind is Ricky Woodard. She is Bobcat softball, hit a milestone early on in the year, 800th career win. She's one of the greatest to have ever done it. What does she like to play for?
A lot of fire. She expects a lot out of you, but that's what you got to do, and if you want to win, and that's what she wants. She wants the best out of everyone, not even just as a softball player, but as a person. She expects a lot out of you. She just brings the best out of everybody. She, she'll get on to you, but you need that. She's never just kind of just let you do your own thing. It's just kind of like, she's going to hold you to a high standard, and she's going to hold the team to a high standard. So I think a lot of us have, or majority of us, the whole team has bought into that aspect of it this year. So I think that's part of the reason why we've had so much success is that it's not so much poor me or, why is she yelling at me? It's just more the fact that, she wants me to get better. That's why she's, getting on to me or, just being more mature about it and just holding ourselves to that high standard and what she wants to hold us to as well. So
I mentioned your stats earlier, 9 homers. You homered again Sunday in the win over Southern Miss. Of the 9 home runs you hit this year, which is your favorite?
Which was my favorite? Probably the one in our second game against Troy. The one I hit over the scoreboard. Yeah. It's so surreal in this moment because I've only done it a few times during practice, and just to feel, I really didn't think I hit it that far off the bat, but whenever I saw it go over the fence, I was like, oh my gosh, I really just did that in a game. It's crazy.
Speaking of home runs, Sarah Vanderford became the all-time home run leader in program history over the weekend against Southern Miss. She's the team's all-time leader in homers, doubles, runs batted in. She set 2 of those records this season. Just how How well prepared is Sarah Vanderford every time she comes up to the plate?
Oh, she's one of the hardest workers on the team. I mean, she's always prepared. Whenever you think you're more prepared, Sarah's probably more prepared than you. She finds a way, to be probably the most prepared on the team. She's got a bunch of experience and she's extremely talented. I mean, she's definitely one of the best players I've ever played with. So, I mean, it's just a blessing to play with her and, get to learn from her, even though, we're not that far in age from each other. But, I really like to watch Sarah play and just understand the different aspects from my game compared to her game. Obviously, she's a righty and I'm a lefty, but, being both power hitters, we can learn stuff from each other. And I think that watching her, hit every single day, it's helped me a lot just to understand, all right, I can do this differently. She does this differently. Maybe I could try this out. So, it's just awesome just getting to learn from her, watching her and just watching her set all these records with, only being here 2 years. But I mean, our relationship has grown a lot, so I think that's helped a lot too. So, yeah, I mean, it's just awesome to watch her, set all these records, and I mean, she's earned it. All the time and effort that she's put in for this program, so she's really earned it.
I love the self-branding, by the way. I've seen it when you play before the necklace, with your number on it, 25, and on the official athletic website, you go to your bio. There's a link to Athlete's Thread. It's where you're able to sell your own merchandise through NIL, and I've seen T-shirts, hoodies. I think I saw a Letterman style like jacket on there,
Right.
jerseys. I think more than 40 items of yours are available over there. What do you have a favorite item that you have for sale?
I like all the sweatshirts. Are really cool. Obviously, I probably would say the jerseys are probably the coolest thing.
Mm-hmm.
My mom actually, she has the pinstripe one, so I think that's probably like the coolest one, just to see that like people can actually buy your jerseys. I think that's a huge jump just for women's sports. You go to any Major League Baseball park or college baseball game and there's some kind of jersey being sold. So I think it's just awesome, for not even just your family, but the little girls watching, they get to go, buy, any type of jersey, any type of shirt, just to show off like who their favorite player is. So I just think all of it's awesome, to be honest with you.
So, the necklace part of your outfit out there in the field. We'll also notice too, you wear a lot of eye black. Is there a story behind that?
Select ball, I never really wore eye black just because I was, pretty sweaty all the time. I'd catch 3 or 4 games in a day. So by the time I get done with that second game, all the eye black's gone. But in high school, I started repping it out a little bit. I thought it was pretty cool. I just think it's the whole intimidation factor that I really like. Just putting on kind of like that swagger, that intimidation factor whenever I get on the field. I think probably about halfway through my sophomore year, I started wearing it a little bit more. And obviously I put the crosses on just to show off my faith. I'm a huge, put on my faith in God. And, I'm a huge Christian, so I just like to show that off as well. But yeah, between, showing off my faith and just the huge intimidation factor, I mean, that's the 2 main reasons why I wear it. So.
What does JJ stand for, by the way?
So my first name's Jaden, and then my middle name's Janan. So that's just the nickname that it was just going to be Jay, but then my parents kind of more fit to JJ just to be a little bit easier. So, yeah.
Now, speaking of nicknames, and I heard this, through somebody, apparently your teammates call you Banjo. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So
Banjo.
I need the background on that. Where does that come from?
So select ball, it's my senior year. Played for Bombers, Scott Smith. So we're playing at these turf fields, and I hit a double off the wall, and I'm running into second base. I slide in head first, and I'm kind of like, I have one hand up. Okay, so I've got one hand up, and then the other one's kind of like brushing off my shirt a little bit. And he said it looked like playing the guitar a little bit, and the air guitar. And then he stepped back a little bit, like a game or so later. He was like, you know what? It's like you're playing the banjo. So every single time I got a good hit or hit a home run or something, I just started playing the banjo. So, and then we got jerseys that had nicknames on the back of our jersey. So, and I had Banjo on the back of mine. So I just kind of, every single time I got a good hit, people call me Banjo, and it kind of just carried through college. And I played with Sophia Simpson and Mia Scott at Texas, and I played travel ball with them as well. So it kind of stuck whenever they got there. And then obviously coming here with Molly being on my travel team, she knew it as well. So it kind of stuck, and, it just kind of, traveled throughout the team. And so it's just either JJ or Banjo. So.
Well, good to clear that up, by the way. And I'm almost upset. I'm just now learning about this because now we only have 3 chances to work that into the broadcast, this weekend when we get the coverage of the final series against Marshall. You mentioned family. Your dad, Sean, your mom, Amber, siblings, Noah, and Kylie. I know your dad played college basketball in Oklahoma. Among the siblings, are you the only athlete? Does your brother, does your sister, are they also in sports? Tell me the story there.
Yeah, so my dad played college basketball. He was actually going to be invited to the Cubs spring training or like a tryout kind of, but I think he tore something in his shoulder. So, back in the day, if you tore something, you were done. So that's kind of what happened to him. But no, my brother, he actually just got out of the Marines. So he served, I think, about 4 years in the Marines. So he just got out of the Marines not too long ago. And then my sister, she's a huge runner. She played softball a little bit in high school, but then her senior year she stopped and started doing the cross country route, and now she I think she just completed her first half marathon, so that's awesome for her. So but other than that, I'm just pretty much the only one that has been kind of in the competitive sport route. But all of us kind of just do our own thing, so I think that's good for my parents. They get a spice of pretty much really anything, so they really never get bored.
I know athletes don't want to look too far ahead, don't want to look behind. Everything's about the moment, the present right now. And, this team has a big series coming up this weekend, trying to help build that resume, conference tournament after that, postseason play after that. But when I say the future, I'm talking about post softball for you, because the finish line is approaching. Your senior year here. We are in the final week of the regular season. What are your post softball plans whenever you're done playing?
Yeah, so I don't graduate until December, just from transferring a few credits, mess that up a little bit. But so I'll be here in San Marcos until for sure December. But so I'll be able to stay here and help out the softball team a little bit till December. So that'll be cool. I'll still be around the girls and get to experience the new girls a little bit. So, and then after that, I hope to pursue a career in coaching. Still kind of bouncing between whether I want to do the high school route and do softball and basketball, or if I want to do college coaching. So I think, I'm really set on coaching. It's just whether or not if I want to be a high school coach or a college coach. I think I'm blessed enough to have a lot of connections, so I think I could do either way. I think it's just whichever one I'm wanting to pursue at that moment in time.
Well, good stuff. Well, JJ, it's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit more, and it's been a great season for you, a great bounce back year after what was kind of a tough adjustment a year ago. Been a great season for the team. It's been a tremendous season, so best of luck to you and your teammates in the final series against Marshall, and we're looking forward to the postseason as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. That again, JJ Banjo Smith joining us on the State Sub podcast. She and the Bobcats wrap up the regular season this weekend against Marshall. We'll have the entire series on ESPN Plus. After that, hosting the Sun Belt Tournament, and then the NCAA postseason to follow. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of the State Sub podcast. For JJ Smith, I'm Brain Freeman, as always, reminding you to keep your states up, and we'll see you next time.